All aboard, it's Jang here with the Playmobil City Action Big Rig. This was $40 US directly from the Playmobil web store at its normal price, and I'd say that seasoned Playmobil fans will pretty readily recognize that this is from the value line, the lower cost and slightly lower quality line of mostly vehicles that Playmobil does, with a little bit less in the way of level of detail than you may be used to, and a lot less in the way of assembly required. So directly out of the box, I had to put together almost nothing. There were a couple of things that seemed like they actually had fallen off, and I just snapped them back together. But I mean, this entire trailer unit, basically the whole thing, was all one piece. It all came together. Now, there are definitely multiple pieces here, and I'll show you how different things can open up and such. The tractor unit, the truck itself, only required that I put the roof on, and I think that had also simply fallen off during shipping, just from things rattling around and such. This is the style where you don't have to apply the stickers yourself, which I think is a good thing. It also has some prints on there. It also has the pre-assembled wheels and tires compared to the normal style where you put the inside wheel onto an axle, and then you put a wheel cover over that, the tire goes over that, and then they're independent. Here, this is all pre-assembled with the axle actually pressed on, so if you turn the wheel from the opposite side, then this side turns as well. At least it is actual nice soft rubber, so rolling around it doesn't have that plasticky sound that some of the cheaper tires have in the past. This can be removed here to get easy access to the cab. You can put two people in there. The sleeper section is not really usable, so you can't actually have somebody taking a rest in there, unfortunately. Actually, that's incorrect. I published this review online for a brief time, and a viewer pointed out that the sleeper cab appears to be openable from the opposite side. Well, I had tried to open it from here, and I put so much force into trying to open it that I thought it was going to break. Well, it turned out I needed to put in even more force than that. This joint, this set of hinges here, was just so tough out of the box that it seemed like it couldn't open. But with a lot more force, I think it should work now. Come on. Oh, wow, it's still really tight. Oh, gosh, this is bad. There we go. With a lot more force, it's actually able to be opened. Now, I think that is not going to be the case for a lot of people. I hope that it's not going to be the case for a lot of people. I hope that it's just that the manufacturing tolerances on mine are not particularly good. But yeah, it's supposed to actually open. If you get this and it doesn't open, just pull harder. Make sure that you're pulling from the left side, the rear side of it, and try to, you can see how there's a little tab right there. Try not to push in against that tab. Try to separate the door this way, away from the back of the frame, and it'll be much easier like that. That actually helps. But yeah, there's a sleeper cab, and you can put a person in there. So that said, back to the rest of the review. I'll take this guy out of the way for just the moment. I'm going to go ahead and put the stand down on this trailer, which is very convenient. The way that comes down there allows you to immediately drive the truck off. You don't have to pull this whole, pull the whole thing up yourself. So it keeps you a little bit better immersed than it would otherwise. This has a few places where things can be held onto the back end. These are not the best clips, at least on the version that I got. They're very loose, and there's a third one over there that was just so loose. It was supposed to be used for holding a fire extinguisher, but it was so loose that it wouldn't hold it at all. So I tried to carefully close it together, and I ended up breaking the piece there. I'm very ashamed of myself for that. But yeah, those didn't turn out so well. Got the fifth wheel here, which is able to rotate on its own and helps with the coupling action when you pull the trailer up. You can also pull the standard style of smaller trailers that Playmobil has done, mostly for smaller vehicles usually, but it's good to be able to attach different things here. That's pretty much all there is to see with the truck itself. I'll open up the cab and what you see in there, it's mostly a one-piece insert. The steering wheel can be turned and you can place the hands of a figure directly on that. Like I said, 2 people can sit in there, and they don't even have like a cup holder or a fire extinguisher holder in there, because the fire extinguisher is supposed to go back here. Now I keep talking about fire extinguisher. I believe I put it in here. Now this, oops, my bad there. This box, this toolbox here, kind of locks in place. That works well. That's a print on top there. That's good. And this opens up. Has a pretty nice lock. Yeah, there we go. There's the fire extinguisher. Standard one with some print on the side. And then you also get a pair of wheel chocks. That's good. Hold wheels in place when needed. Those look nice, and they can also be held by a figure, so you can have a Playmobil figure carrying these to and from a work site. And there's a set of tools in there. Very good. Of course, all of these can be held in the hand of any figure, and yeah, it's a good little selection for mostly make pretend work. These don't really fit into most things, but they look pretty good. And then the trailer itself is actually 2-in-1. It's set up, surprising to me, as like an intermodal trailer where you have a container on top of a basic frame. All of this here can be removed, but before I remove, let me go ahead and remove that right now. It's just snapped onto the corners here with four little snaps. You can see that turquoise color there. I'm just gonna pull this off. It's not too difficult, but not too easy. So it just leaves this frame behind, and you can use this. I believe this is compatible with some other items that can be attached to it. Haven't looked into it myself, but at the very least you could use this to put some logs on there or something. But the interesting thing about this is that it is also compatible with some stuff they've done in the past. First of all, got a couple of locks here that actually work. You can't open the doors without that. Got the instruction sheet in there. Forgot about that. Again, no real assembly required, so you didn't even need to use that, but plenty of cavernous room in there to store whatever cargo you like, but you don't have to open it up from back here and just access it that way, which is a little bit inconvenient for us humans to get in there. You can just pull the top off. It's a lot more convenient for putting stuff in there, so you can just load this up all the way back to the back without having to stick your hand all the way in there. Now, the size of this is, I believe, the largest size of cargo container that Playmo has ever made. And in fact, it is precisely compatible with this train one. It's the exact same size, has different sides. You can see that this has the corrugation kind of texture on it, but otherwise, it's fully compatible, so I can take this off, put it here. Now, not a lot of people have the trains, but if you do have some compatible things, that's good. And that also means that I can use this trailer frame here now for this. I can snap right into place, make sure it's on all the way. Yeah, it looks like it's on all the way. There we go. I actually like that a little bit better. Just a different color. Just, I don't know, it looks a little bit more like what I expect from having lived around ports. Oftentimes the colors don't match between the trailer, the frame itself, and the container on top. But that's the system that's being continued, and is one of the really good things that Playmobil does. They try to keep things consistent from year to year and decade to decade, as much as reasonably possible. Some things get changed out, but you can see that even the doors are the exact same pieces and the exact same molds and use the same mechanism. Only one figure is included. It's the driver, and he's got some worn jeans. Now, you can see those as being stonewashed or just worn from use, from work. They added a little bit of spray on the front there with a little bit of dilution. It gives a little bit of a wash effect on the jeans. A pretty good figure overall for what it is. For a basic worker, I like the print for the plaid undershirt there, and he's got the vest on. The vest looks a little bit short, but you can also remove that if you want, and it comes with a drink. And that's just it for this. I think one figure is perfectly fine for this type of set. And yeah, he looks really good again for what he is. To me, it feels a little bit awkward and silly looking at the front of this box and seeing 22 pieces included for this big thing. But it's really a simplified setup, with this, like I said, the value line of vehicles. But I think it doesn't look too bad with the colors that they've chosen. The fact that they actually use the rubber tires, the soft rubber tires nowadays, is a big thing for me. It makes it not feel as cheap as it actually is. The container back here works really well. The printing, I think, helps a whole lot to add to the a little bit of premium flavor there, rather than just leaving things completely plain. That's, I guess, now that I think about it, that's one of my bigger complaints about the other trucks that have been based on this same overall design with the solid axles, the one-piece wheels and everything. They've been very plain. I think there was a dump truck that I reviewed. I think there was one other. I also did a cement truck, cement mixer. But putting the print on there, really, the design really helps. Overall, I mean, for $40 US, it's a pretty big box and a pretty big vehicle to get, and you can definitely haul lots of stuff with it. Very useful. It's entirely up to the owner to figure out how to use it. The only shame here is that the clips, like I said, on mine were not very reliable on the back of the cab. It's a relatively minor thing, but still worth pointing out. I also think they could have set up something inside the interior of the cab to hold something, like a drink holder. Would have been nice to have just a cup holder or some sort of slot. Usually they'll do like a walkie-talkie slot or just something where I could put one single accessory in the cab with the driver himself. Otherwise, pretty good set and pretty decent value. Could have been a little bit better on the price, I think, for what you get, but it's not bad. That's it for my look at this one. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you have any comments about it, feel free to comment down below, and I'll talk to you again as soon as I can.